Since 1960, the Washington-Dallas game has been called one of the best rivalries in professional sports. This Sunday, the Cowboys come to town, one of the most highly anticipated games of the NFL season, not just here, but across the league. There's a lot at stake for both teams. Mike Richman is the man with all the answers when it comes to Redskins history. He has written 2 books about the team. He joins us this morning to talk more about this bitter rivalry. Good to have you on the show,
Tony,
man.
how are you?
I know you're almost a lifelong fan.
Yes, that's right.
I want to show very quickly, because the books are incredible. If you're a big Redskins fan, these are must-haves. This is the most recent one, right?
Right, the Washington Redskins Football Vault.
Football Vault. And what's in here?
It's a great compilation of memorabilia, Redskins memorabilia from over the years. There's a lot of text in there,
right.
But it's the memorabilia that really makes that book.
Ticket
stubs, press passes, game program covers.
And then we should have had you on before Christmas, because if you got a Redskins fan on your, or if you had one on your Christmas list, the Redskins Encyclopedia, pretty much everything you want to know.
Everything you want to know, the most comprehensive journalistic account of Redskins history.
All right,
very good. Goes all the way back to the early years of the team.
This rivalry, you just told me something during the break here that I did not know. This is a big game this weekend. It feels like a big game. It's bigger than we thought.
This is a marquee matchup. Actually, this is the first game since 1979 that the two teams have met. First final regular season game where there's been playoff implications for both squads.
Wow.
There have been other games over the years between the teams, like 1976. The Redskins were bidding for a playoff spot. The Cowboys had already locked up the NFC East. Same thing in 1996, the last game at RFK. Cowboys had already won the division. 2007, the Sean Taylor year, the Cowboys had already won the division. But this game is huge.
We're going to show some clips from some of those very games that you mentioned. The final game at RFK, which I was at, when the Redskins, weren't all that great, but they beat the Cowboys in the final game of the season, and the Sean Taylor game as well. Of course, when we think about this rivalry, we do think about the big games, the NFC Championship game, of course, in 1983. Where do you think, well, we don't know what's going to happen yet in this game, obviously, but in terms of what we're looking at and what's on the line, where do you think this game will fall historically in Redskin-Cowboy matchups?
This will come right behind those 2 NFC Championship games. So the 72 game, which I was at, I should say, December 31st, 1972, a 26-3 Redskins win. That, of course, was huge, sent the Skins to Super Bowl VII. And then the January of '83 game, which you referred to, the 31-17 Redskins victory. In fact, the Cowboys hold a sizable advantage in overall play throughout the series, but the Redskins have won both games when the stakes have been highest, those 2 NFC Championship games. This game will match that 79 game in terms of its magnitude and in the rivalry, falling right behind those 2 NFC Championship games.
I've often wondered this. Of course, I hate the fact that Dallas leads overall in this rivalry, and it's a sizable lead, as you say, but in some ways, doesn't that make us that more jazzed up to get them and put them down?
Oh, absolutely. Many people are envious of the Cowboys. They hold this mystique, and actually there's like a sense of arrogance about them. The star on the helmets, the hole in the ceiling at Texas Stadium, and now in the new stadium, so where God can watch them play. So you just want to stick it to the Cowboys. Maybe envious is the wrong way to describe it, but there's like this hatred toward the Cowboys.
Right. Over the years, during the tough times that the Redskins have had, which is much of the last 20 years, unfortunately, there have been some bright spots here and there, but and sometimes where they've made the playoffs. But one of the disappointing things has been the fact that many of these games have not been meaningful games.
That's correct, right. Over the past 2 decades, the Redskins have been struggling. And really, but when you look at it this way, since 1996, the year after the Cowboys won their last Super Bowl, the Redskins and Cowboys have won the same number of playoff games. Year after year, the Cowboys they're either put on the cover of Sports Illustrated or everybody thinks they're going to win the NFC East. But the teams have won 2 playoff games each since '96.
Isn't that something? They do seem to get, obviously I'm a Redskins fan, got the tie and everything, but they do seem to get a pass when it comes to a lot of the national coverage and all that kind of thing. Although this year, I have to say I'm impressed that everyone across the league has really focused on RG3 and what he brings to the table, what he's done.
Right. Well, of course, he's revived the franchise. Now that deal where the Redskins traded 3 number 1s and a number 2 for him, it's looking absolutely like the perfect deal.
That's the thing to do.
Shanahan couldn't, and Bruce Allen and company couldn't have done any better. And this game will really solidify RG3's stance here in Washington as the future of the franchise. I mean, he will be the guy. It's also a huge game for Tony Romo of the Cowboys because over the years, he sort of gained this reputation where he hasn't been able to win the big one.
Right.
So a lot is riding on the game for him, too.
For both teams, and I think you're absolutely right when you look at it from the other side as well. If Romo can't win this game, it almost really solidifies that rap that he's got. That, you know what, you can get us there, but you can't win the big one.
Right. He posts a lot of big numbers in recent weeks, actually. He's been putting up hundreds of yards of passing per game. They don't have much of a running attack. I think that's their issue, and they can't win alone with the passing. So if he doesn't pull this one out, I think he's going to have a bad rap for quite a while.
First time Redskins-Cowboys meet since 1979. We're both at the end of the season where both teams have a lot on the line. Mike, it's great to have you here.
Thank you, Tony.
Once again, pick these up: Washington Redskins Football Vault and the Redskins Encyclopedia. Hail to the Skins. We'll be back in just a few moments. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah.